What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Today I have my handsome husband here. We finally get to sit down and answer some questions that you guys have been having about an RADU. Do you want to explain what an ADU is? Because people were a little bit confused.
Yes, an ADU is an additional dwelling unit. So it's pretty much like a in-law unit, or it's a unit you could use for rent, or it's a unit you could use just for extra room.
Yeah. A lot of like Hispanic people call it un estudio.
Pues sí.
Un estudio. But there was a time where I was calling it a studio, and I was like talking, I think, on my neighborhood page, right? And then somebody was like, oh, like it's not a studio if it has a bedroom. So then that's why I started calling it what it is. And it is hot. Most of these are obviously going towards George because George did this. What inspired you into doing this?
I mean, there's a bunch of things, but the main reason is because it helps out with the mortgage. So when
investment.
Yeah, I mean that, but our mortgage is pretty high, so renting this apartment is pretty much pays 75% of our mortgage. Yeah. So that's it's a lot of freedom that I'm able to have afterwards.
Yeah, so something that George has said in the past that really has stuck with me is something that you said, even if you own a house, you don't want to be
house poor.
House poor.
Yeah, so a lot of people, they get qualified for a home because it's not that difficult to get qualified, and a lot of people think, okay, well, I want a nice home. Mm-hmm. Okay, but you can get qualified for $500,000, $400,000. It's not that hard. But do you want to get stuck with a $3,500 payment, $3,000 payment? Hell no.
Yeah, or just like have enough to just be able to like pay your mortgage, and then the rest is kind of like.
Right, you don't want to be working 3 fucking jobs just to pay your mortgage. Yeah. And say I have a nice house.
You want to have some type of freedom, some type of like weight off of your shoulders.
Correct.
So that's one of the reasons why we did it.
Another reason is my parents did it.
Yeah.
So my parents did it 20 years ago. And they told me it's the best decision they ever made in their life. Mm-hmm. So they actually paid off their house. And the whole, time that they paid off their home in 15 years.
Yeah,
so
that's the goal.
They helped them out big time. And you can have your problems here and there with your tenants, but they told me in the last 20 years they had problems maybe with 2 people. So
it's not bad.
Yeah, and it just comes down to, making sure you have in your apartment, doing background check, credit check, and overall, even after all that, you still won't figure out 100% who it is, but you do, try to do your best to avoid those certain people. Okay,
next question. Did you refinance your home to fund the ADU, or did you take it from a savings account?
No, it was mostly savings and a few credit cards.
Yeah, so the thing is, we've had this house. It hasn't even been 2 years that we bought this house. So definitely, thank you to George, we've been able to afford our mortgage payment up to this date. But like we said, we didn't want to just work just to pay a mortgage payment. So luckily we didn't have to refinance. But if you do plan on doing something like this, it's a huge project. Definitely takes some time, but it's worth it, right? So even if you were to refinance your home to do something like this, then that would be a good idea,
I keep looking up.
You look over here.
Right there? Okay.
But you can look at yourself right there for a little bit.
Probably I don't think I'm cross-eyed.
Tiene un ojo más grande que el otro. Which eye is bigger than the other? I don't know. Did you pull out your own permits? So do you have to, basically there's been other questions, but did you have to get a permit for this? So yes. Go ahead.
Yes, you have to get a permit. If you guys live in California, California has a lot of laws right now that they actually want you to build because there's a housing crisis.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So if you have a home or looking to get a home, I suggest you do this ADU because it's probably I mean, if not the best, it will be the best investment you do in your life.
If you have the space, of course.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're looking for a home, try to look for a home that has space available. You know, and the permits is a question, right? Yeah. So yeah, you're supposed to get your own permits. You just talk to your city. You know, ask for an application. Ask if it's okay to do it in your area, because some restrictions, you know, in your area might not let you do it.
Counties too.
Counties, but they will let you do it. I mean, at the end of the day, the city, they want their money.
Yeah.
They want their money.
It's pricey. So, while we're in this question, do you want to go ahead and let them know how much the permit was?
The permit was $7,600.
And then, but you ended up paying a little bit more because you have to pay like an architect, right, to be able.
Yeah, you got to pay an engineer to do your plans. And I suggest going with different people. You know, try to see, because a lot of people even like for our space is long, but it's not that wide. It was 14 feet wide, but we have like over 50 to 60 feet.
Yeah.
It was like 55 feet long.
And we had architects tell us that it wasn't doable, like it was something that we couldn't do, right?
Yep. So, but there was a lady who helped us out big time, and she was able to, the whole process to any question that I had, because I'm a carpenter, so I was able to do most of the work myself. So any question that I had, seeing the blueprint, I go ahead and call her. Yep. So if you guys want her information, we'll give her.
We'll link it down below.
Yeah.
What's the square footage on the apartment?
It's 650 square feet.
Which is pretty good. Do you know what an average apartment is? Like
no, probably 500.
Yeah, it's not a. Honestly, when we were building it and we were not we, but they were digging and all that, it looked small. It honestly, because it was hard to picture where everything was going to be. But once everything was built and everything was where, you know, we can tell like where the living room is, the bedroom, it's a really good size, huh?
Yep, very good size.
Let's see. Let me see. Is this in your backyard? And how do you feel about having randoms in your backyard? So,
it's on my side yard.
Yeah.
Our side yard, and it's all private. It's just like having another neighbor, honestly.
Yeah, so there's actually a lot of houses that are closer, that are really close, even if you guys are just neighbors. So what we would suggest going on forward, like maybe buying a house, is getting yourself a corner house, a corner lot, just because it'll give you so much space to work with. At the beginning, when we first bought our house, I remember we had a whole side yard and we have a whole backyard. And originally we thought about building a pool. We thought about building a basketball court, because George loves basketball. But at the end of the day, those were things that, yeah, they were going to be cool, but they were not going to help us in any type of way. And building a pool was probably going to cost just as much, if not more, than building an apartment.
It doesn't bring you money.
Yeah, but we do have a backyard. Do you know what the size is for a backyard?
The lot?
Yeah, like our back. What we have left with.
I don't know. We have maybe like still a pretty big yard. Maybe 60. It's pretty big, like 70 feet.
If we wanted to fit like a
20.
pool, we could still fit a pool. If we wanted to fit a whole setup, like we still have a really good backyard, like a decent size, like any other house.
Right.
And we built on our side yard. So, and honestly, the neighbors have been there, or the tenants have been there for 21 days today. And we don't really run into them. I don't hear them. I think they like to play music, and I cannot even make up like what they're listening to, like if I'll be in the kitchen and stuff like that. So I can hear it. We made sure to put a lot of like soundproof,
sound barrier and insulation.
Yeah, so we don't mind it at all. Let's look for the next question.
And everything's all private. They have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So somebody else, it kind of goes with the same thing. Do you feel awkward sharing a property with other people? So
it's private, so I don't feel, it's not like they're in my house. It's one thing for them to have their own private entrance and own living space. Yeah. To us sharing a room with somebody.
Yeah. They don't have access to our backyard, and we don't have access to their patio or their space at all, so it worked out perfectly.
Yeah, it's just like having a neighbor.
Yeah. Did you go over budget?
I did, yeah.
Did we have a budget?
Well, I was trying to stay under
We always-
40,000, but
Oh yeah, no. Okay. Do you know approximately how much everything was?
approximately it was
Counting appliances, counting.
around 65,000, but it could have been done with maybe 50 something if I didn't put the best stuff, but we did.
We put nice countertops. We put all brand new appliances.
Yeah,
everything.
we did everything the best. Brand new lights, fans. But if you want to go the cheap route, you could probably get away with it if you have somebody that that's handy, or I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are Mexican. You guys could probably get one of your uncles or somebody to do it.
Heck. Wow. What makes you think all Mexicans build stuff?
Hey, I'm Mexican and I build stuff.
So this is where I was going. Oh yeah, we did have estimates from companies. I remember one in particular, and they quoted us
$110,000.
$110,000.
That was one, and that was probably the cheapest
Yeah.
one. There was another company that quoted us $150,000.
Yeah, so the whole building process, I'm sure you guys saw videos. It started off with George and my dad. They did a lot of like the digging, the very like hard work, and then it was like George and his friend. It was always George and somebody else. But most of the time we got people that we knew and that would be able to help and just give us a good price overall. And you learned a lot.
But I do suggest, when it comes to the plumbing, electrical,
stuff like that, yeah, definitely.
I mean, pretty much everything, but especially plumbing.
Yeah, because you don't want...
you gotta definitely choose somebody that... Don't go with someone cheap. So I messed up on that. Like, at first, I went with somebody who said he could do it. So he's like, yeah, let's do it. I'm ready to knock it out in 2 days. And I trusted in him, and then the next morning, he shows up and he's like, oh man, like, it is a fucked up job site, like.
Yeah.
He's like, but I'm already in the job site, so. And then he's like, you know what, I'm kind of hungover. And I'm like, what the fuck,
And then he kept trying to bring, it was a particular plumber that kept trying to bring his wife over to my house while he was going to be at work.
Yeah, but hold on, let me finish. So he's like, let me get a beer. I'm like, a beer? What the hell, bro? It's 9 in the morning. He's like, no, I'm hungover. I need a beer. I was like, all right, I'll get you a beer. Then he comes back, works another hour. He's like, you know what, man? It's already 11 in the morning. He's like, I'm kind of hungry. Let's get some tacos.
Oh my god.
I'm like, what? So this happened for like 3 days straight.
Yeah.
And then he ended up flaking and not coming back. And then I called him. He came back. And long story short, he didn't finish the job. I had to hire somebody else to come finish the job and clean up after his mess.
Yeah.
And so that's why.
Oh, it's Pete, the guy you mentioned in the last video.
Yeah, fucking Pete. Pete, if you're watching this, I'm gonna kick your ass.
Also.
Serious too, faggot.
Another thing that we didn't add, like in the price budget. George made sure to buy every worker, every person that came here, made sure to buy them lunch every single day.
Yeah.
And there were some days where George was not here and the workers would come and knock on my door and be like, hola, oiga, ¿puedo ir por unas tortas? I'll be like, oh, sí. And I would have to go buy food. So, ahí se gastaron otros, I don't know,
a couple $100, but
yeah.
try to take care of your workers.
Yeah.
You take care of your workers, they'll take care of you.
Yeah. Where did you buy the shower doors and shower walls?
Home Depot.
Home Depot. A lot of the stuff that we bought was Home Depot. The wood was at... We'll be linking a lot of places down below that actually were really good to us.
Go to Home Depot. You'll get hooked up.
Yeah. And you'll know that like anything you buy, if it goes wrong, like Home Depot's always gonna, you know. We ended up buying like doors, returning doors, just different stuff. And
save receipts too. Save your receipts.
Yeah. Let me see. Was this something you two always wanted since buying our home?
Something I wanted. I'm not sure if that's what you wanted.
Okay. No. I mean, we have had talked about it because his parents did it. But whenever we were like looking around for homes, at first we all wanted was like a 2-story home. And all the houses, like looking back, they didn't have a yard. Looking back at it now, huh?
A lot of them didn't. No.
Yeah. So the house that we obviously got, which is this one, it was perfect, huh?
It was very perfect. It was very perfect.
The best thing. Okay, the best thing is that we came into this neighborhood and we're probably like one of like the youngest in this neighborhood, like in our street.
Yeah.
And they are so proud of us. Like, people will literally drive by till this day and they'll park and they'll congratulate us and they'll tell us like how amazing our house looks. And even the apartment itself, like, people figured out that we're building an apartment, obviously, and they're just like so amazed with the fact that it doesn't look like a apartment. Like, it just looks like part of the house. Like, it looks really pretty, huh?
Yeah, it's an investment, and if anybody is planning on doing it, I suggest you do it. And my goal is to keep doing more. I want to keep buying little shitty houses and, you know, with a decent yard, and adding this the apartment in the back. It's gonna cost you some money, you know, but there's loans out there. But if you think long term, it's gonna be a big investment.
Yeah.
Like, I thought about it. Like, it was every day, you know, it was a struggle putting up with people. Some people were lazy. I mean, other people, most of them were good workers, but you know, I did have my bad days, and once I got my permits approved, it was worth the struggle.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Definitely do it.
I feel like there was a lot that goes into it that we weren't even prepared for. A lot of like, just a lot of stuff in general that you're just like, wow, like, I didn't even think of this. Wow, I didn't even think that this was going to be needed. Like, till you get to that point. And it was a lot of struggles, like having to go through like inspections here and there.
Yeah, get along with your inspector.
Buy them donuts.
On the store?
I saw in the last video, George, pobrecito, les compró donuts al inspector, and then inspector, did I say right? But the regular inspector didn't even come. It was like another guy that came, so the donuts ni quiso. But
yeah, there's this inspector who is gonna do the final inspection, and he's this big old 300-pounder, and nice guy. And I went to the donut shop to get the donuts, and another inspector showed up when I went to the donut shop, and came back with the box full of donuts.
You know,
I was like, "Hey, sir, you want a donut?" No, I'm okay right now. Come on, get a donut.
I felt so bad. What are the requirements to build a rental home? You definitely have to have the space. You have to have the money. Just
get the permit approved.
Yeah.
It's easier than most people think, trust me.
We also figured out that when it's attached to your home, it's a little cheaper, right, than when it's apart.
You just have to have, they call them setbacks. It have to be a setback.
Yeah.
From the rear fence, from the side fence, from the front
You
fence.
have to have like the emergency line.
Just in case of a fire or, you know, emergency, they need to have their clearance space. And also the underground piping and stuff too. Supposedly the city, I don't know.
Yeah. Average rent for 1 bedroom. So where we live, I feel like it's not too hard to price up, right? Because it's pretty affordable, but taxes are really high here, so it kind of just but something that really helped us is that there isn't any apartments here. They're barely like starting to build, and there's a lot of people who don't want to go and rent out a whole house. They would prefer an apartment, you know, so there isn't a lot here, so we were able to rent it out. So an average, I think, between, like, if you build something like this, it just depends where you're at. So definitely like look around what other 1 bedrooms. I think here it was between 1,400 to 1,600 average. So, and we did include bills, which worked out great for the tenants, huh?
Correct.
Yeah.
They don't gotta worry. I include Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi, water, electricity, garbage.
Yeah.
Everything. So it's included, and I can't, like, sometimes you go and live in an apartment, you have to pay the rent, and on top of that you have to pay for your bills. So I feel like our tenants just love that in particular. Are you renting to family or strangers?
Strangers.
Yeah, we actually did not feel like renting to family was the best thing, huh?
No.
Yeah, no. Well, actually, we decided to go with the route of running background checks. We had people reach out to us through Facebook, and people filled up applications. There's actually a really good website called, is it Turbo Tenants? I think Turbo Tenants. I'll link it below as well. It's free and it works out so good. You literally just invite whoever wants to apply. They'll apply. They pay for a fee, which goes to like the background check and all that, and then immediately you get all of the information like criminal record, what else, credit score, and like all these things, right?
Background check.
Yeah, we had so many messages, and obviously we had to choose between a couple people.
Right.
There were some good candidates, and yeah. Do you want to tell them a little bit about how that was?
Yeah, it was.
It was exciting.
We just literally posted on Facebook. Yeah, on the marketplace, and then
the neighborhood page.
We had how many messages? Like 60 messages?
Probably more.
Probably more, but a lot of people, you know, they message, but it's out of their budget. Understandable. And then a lot of people come and see it. They came probably what, like 6-7 people came to see it.
Yeah.
And we narrowed it down to 2 people, and we chose a family.
Yeah, we decided to go with the family, just because. Well, they were all really good candidates, to be honest with you guys. Their credit score and all that stuff is really good, but we just felt more of a connection, I would say, with the family. And George was so nice. Like, he pretty much let me choose who was gonna live there, only because, you know, I'm the one that's always home, and you just never know. So we decided to go with them, huh? We really liked them, and it's been amazing since 21 Days Strong. And we haven't really like ran into them, but they do have kids, which is amazing because they see Sebastian and they're always like waving, and it's cute.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's the next question?
What's your next question?
I feel like we answered all the questions.
How much time do you guys build it in? How much time?
It was in around 4 months, but it could have been done in, say, could have been done in like 2.5 to 3 months, but my plumber, Pete, I'm gonna kick your ass, Pete, I swear to God.
Hey, 4 months is a really good time though.
Yeah.
A lot of people messaged me, that like people that were keeping up with it, and they were just like, wow,
my plumber fucked me up.
We're all gonna go and beat up Pete, you know? But also, like, shout out to every single person that was actually like here helping.
Yep, and I actually ended up thanking everybody who helped me out too. My electrician, my new plumber.
Your suegro.
My suegro.
Yeah.
Who else? I had one of my old coworkers help me out too.
Yeah, for this, you for sure have to have a lot of patience, because whenever George first told me that he was going to be building this, I kind of just like, oh, like, he said it, is he even gonna do it, you know? And then that's how I felt. I doubted you.
Truth's coming out.
I doubted you. But once he started like bringing home like the application for the permits and all that, like I was reading through them and I was like, I didn't have the patience. Like I would look at that and I'm just like, it's kind of stuff that I'm just like, I would give up. But he did it. He made it happen. He was going back and forth with the city, back and forth with the architect, back and forth with every single person.
Architect?
Stop, I can't say that word.
With what?
What do you say?
I think you say architect? Architect.
Architect.
Am I saying it wrong?
You're saying it wrong.
Architect.
No, architect.
Architect.
Arquitecto.
Arquitecto?
I think he's saying it wrong. You're making me doubt myself.
Alright.
But I'm really proud of George. I'm really proud of us. Definitely, like I've said before, this is only the beginning. If you have the opportunity to build something like this, I 100% recommend it, because like I said, it's gonna be like a weight off of your shoulders when it comes to like paying your mortgage. You can obviously pay your mortgage in full and use that money for something else, whatever you guys want.
Yeah.
But
you can even rent the house and rent the apartment.
Yeah.
And then you'll be pocketing. We could probably pocket like $1,500 a month if we do it that way.
On top of already paying our mortgage and all that stuff. I tell George eventually, I'm like, I love our house, but I'm just like, eventually, like maybe we can rent out this house, rent out the apartment. They're both gonna pay for another house.
Yeah.
But George's goal is definitely to buy another house, maybe like in a
I want to get
affordable area.
A fixer-upper.
Yeah, a fixer-upper where we can just rent, maybe build another ADU there and just keep on going, you know? because I just feel like you can always be working a 9 to 5 or whatever you work, but you always have to try to be doing something on top of it.
You gotta be thinking about yourself when you're in your 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
Like, you want to work your whole life? Hell no. If you're in your 20s,
I retired
30s,
3 years ago. I don't know what you're talking about.
heck no. If you're in your 20s or 30s, you gotta think for your future. So
Yeah.
you gotta, you gotta have passive income coming. So
Passive income.
yep. So
That's what it is.
So I mean, it's gonna, baby steps. Take one project at a time, but definitely recommend it. It's the best investment you will ever do.
Yeah, and just to like give you guys an example, let's say you guys rent out, let's just say your mortgage is $2,000 and you rent it out for $1,300 or $1,400. Like, look at, you have to pay what, $600, $700 only. Like, you really, like, I say it again, if you guys have the opportunity to do something like this, you should. Obviously, like, people have opinions on this. Like, a lot of people were kind of just like, oh, like, but you took up your yard space, but you have people living in your property, but you have to think on the long run, like, it's all gonna be worth it, and it doesn't even bother us.
Nope, not at all.
Not at all. But I think
it would bother me if someone was in my house,
in our bedroom,
in like sharing a room, but that doesn't even
people
bother
do that too, though. People do that, and if that's what you have to do, and if that's what works for you, then that's okay to do too,
whatever floats your boat. But
a lot of people rent out their garages.
That too. I was actually thinking about renting my garage
before building the apartment, huh? Yeah. I think with the garage, it's obviously going to be less pricey because you already have some walls up, and permits should be a little cheaper now when it comes to that. But we obviously needed our garage. That's currently George's workshop space. If you guys don't know, George builds some marquees at Colton Creations. If you guys message that page, it's always Georgie answering messages, and you answer messages within 30 seconds.
What's wrong with that?
No, that's good. That's great. That's amazing customer service.
As soon as someone sends a message, like, I reply right away, but I guess that's bad.
No, that's good.
I guess I'd look desperate or what?
No, that's good. That's good. You have great customer service, and his messages are so cute. Like, let me know if you guys have messaged George, and he's so cute. You are.
What? Because I say I would love to earn your business?
No, I don't know. Your messages are so cute. Right. I love it.
Anyways.
But we're gonna go ahead and end this video here. If you guys do have any more questions and by any chance we missed them, or any questions I may have came up, then make sure you guys leave them down below. We love to keep answering questions. What else do you have to say about about your apartment?
If you don't got the funds for them just yet, save up some money. Use credit cards if you have good credit.
Zero, and make sure you have zero. Well, but okay, here's the thing though. Here's the banker in me. If you are going to be using credit cards, make sure that it's credit card or credit card limit that you'll be able to pay off before like the year, instead of getting charged for like, the interest fees and all that stuff. So that's something to put out there.
Yep.
But if you can save up, if you can get the cash, go ahead and do it, because it's a good investment for sure. Yeah, or even if you're able to like buy a whole house instead of building an apartment and just rent it out, whatever works for you, then go for it. Anything else you want to add?
That's it.
That's all you want to add? But thank you so much for watching this video. We will see you guys all on the next one. Well, you'll see me in the next video. And
peace.
Why you look so yellow next to you?